What is up, guys? My name is Ark, and today is a beautiful day to brawl. Now, at the time of this recording, I am the #1 player in the world with Gene. So what better time than now to discuss his strengths, his weaknesses, and most importantly, does he need a nerf or a buff? The main reason I wanted to push Gene this high in trophies was that it kind of gives me an edge to give you guys the very best advice when it comes to this new brawler, where to play him, more importantly where not to play him, and how you guys can get the most out of this brawler to get as high in trophies as you can in Brawl Stars. So when Gene was first introduced into the game, it was a hot topic on whether he was overpowered or underpowered, and having pushed him as high as I have, I can see why people are arguing for both sides. We'll get into that in just a moment. First and foremost though, let's start off talking about what are the best game modes for pushing Gene in Brawl Stars. For me, I had the best results playing Gene in Gem Grab, without a doubt in Gem Grab, but not as a gem carrier. I've seen many videos online saying that he's a great gem carrier. I just did not feel that at all. For me, it's a really high-risk strategy playing Gene as a gem carrier, because when can you really use your super effectively? It's a really high-risk thing to draw in any brawler to like the really close proximity of a gem carrier. It's just, for me, not worth the risk. I would play Gene as a lane aggressor, but also a little bit of support. He's kind of somewhere between the two, between support and aggro, and you've really got to know the brawlers that you counter best. So we'll get to that in just a moment and cover it in more depth, but I would suggest that you guys go into voice chat, go into Discord, so that if you are on the wrong lane and you're kind of opposing your counter, you can say to your teammates, let's swap lanes and take someone that's perhaps more favorable to you. The reason I say don't play him as a gem carrier is very, very simple. It's because when you're playing aggressive, you can earn your super more frequently. When you've got that super, you can kind of like liaise to your teammates, right, I am going to pull the gem carrier now. Let's get into a position where we can all take that gem carrier down, especially if they've got the lead, or whether, you know, you need like 5 more gems and they've got 5 and it's kind of an equal game. You can drag that gem carrier towards your teammates, take him out nice and swiftly, get the gems, get on countdown, and win that game. That is where Gene thrives in Brawl Stars, is turning the game, similar to Leon in that respect, but I wouldn't say nearly as strong meta-wise. But, you know, being able to draw a brawler across the map to your teammates and to gain that advantage is absolutely where Gene thrives currently. Now, this is not to discredit any of the other game modes. I actually had the most fun playing Gene in Heist. Heist for me was really, really fun playing as Gene. You can basically just effectively take away a tank from your safe very, very easily playing Gene. And they don't expect it, funnily enough. I mean, I was playing, to be fair, at a lower level of trophies. And, you know, in that respect, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a difference in skill when you're playing someone as an experienced player at a lower range of trophies. But my understanding now is with the ranking and the matchmaking system is that you are now pitched up against experienced players playing a brawler for the first time. So that's not necessarily true. I just don't really have as much knowledge when it comes to matchmaking as that. But, you know, when there's a tank going towards your safe, or say like a ball uses his super to charge in on the safe, you can just basically use your super to drag him back away from the safe and try and kite, which means try to kind of encourage them to follow you around the map back towards their spawn. If they don't bite and they just continue going back towards the safe, you can just get chip damage all the way down, so that by the time he starts to actually make some damage on the safe, he's already pretty low. Sometimes your teammate will respawn back in to finish him off as well. It's just a really great strategy to be able to stop that damage going onto your safe, and there's a great potential to troll with Gene, dragging in a tank to your teammates and saying, here you go mate, deal with that. I will do a video on this soon. I did it on live stream and it's just a lot of fun. I would say Gene, for me, is actually the most fun brawler to play in Brawl Stars right now. He's just a bit misunderstood. Gene is also really viable in Bounty in the majority of maps, but sometimes not great. I tried him on Snake Prairie, for example, and, you know, because he's quite a good counter to Piper if you can get close. Yes, he is often outranged in the maps with less bushes, but if you're able to get close to those Brocks and Pipers, he's a pretty good counter. But in Snake Prairie, what tends to happen is if you do come across a Piper without super and you take it down with those 3 shots, their teammates are going to know where you are. They're going to absolutely then focus on you. And Gene has a pretty slow reload rate. It's kind of a bit of a risk taking out someone like that on a map where, you know, those teammates are going to spot you. They're going to focus on you and pressurize you as soon as they know where you are. So it didn't really work out that well. But he is good in the majority of maps with bushes. You've got to be very sneaky with Gene right now. We'll get into the best maps for Gene in just a moment. He's very good in Showdown, I found. Once you have kind of more power cubes, he's actually pretty strong, and that super comes in really handy in that respect. When you have an advantage in terms of your power cube level, being able to draw in a brawler straight towards you, it's just like an instant power cube added onto your total. So he's actually pretty viable in Showdown in the early stages of trophies. I didn't play him really beyond 500. When I did, I tilted him pretty bad. So I would say push Gene in Showdown in around the sort of 0 to 300 stage, and then start playing him more in gem grab and kind of with a good team, and focus on being like an aggressor, and also in Bounty especially. In Brawl Ball, I didn't feel him at all. He's got a very slow reload rate, and Brawl Ball attracts a lot of tanks, Franks, Primos. He really struggles against those brawlers, guys, like, and kind of, you're constantly using up your ammo. If you are hitting shots, great, but even so, you're not really doing much of a dent. And when you, we're now in a stage in Brawl Ball where when you need to pass the ball, it uses up ammo. Now, that's a huge deal with Gene. Most of the time in Brawl Ball, I found I didn't have any ammo at all. So if I did get the ball, it was like something where I had to decide what to do. Do I kind of like buy my time to get some ammo to pass it? And then I'm only left with 2 shots. Even if I hit those 2 shots, it's not going to do much to a Frank and a Primo. So I don't think that Gene is going to be very viable in Brawl Ball at all. The only thing that I could see him being potentially good for is pulling a brawler with the ball to get that ball off their hands, and maybe hoping that your teammates can pick that up and run with it. But it's really high skill cap, guys. I mean, it's not really going to happen very often, and just for that one play, I wouldn't suggest using Gene in Brawl Ball at all currently in the meta. I just wouldn't. So what are the best maps for pushing Gene? Now, this is a tricky one, as Gene has only just been introduced into Brawl Stars, and there's been only so many maps in the rotation since that time. But what I can say is the maps that have been in the rotation so far that I've really felt really confident playing Gene on and gaining the most trophies were for Gem Grab, Undermine. The bushes down the left and right sides of the maps are really useful, and again, in Bounty, the best map for him was Temple Ruins for exactly that same reason. Those side bushes allow you to heal up when you need to heal, to regen your ammo, because again, it's a really slow reload rate. So having that additional time to heal up whilst having the walls for added protection mean that it's a really strong map for Gene. They also attract a lot of really strong counters for Gene to be able to benefit from. So a lot of the times I came across a Rico, which I 3-shot and he is down. So what I could do effectively is kind of juke my way up towards him, not using my shots to kind of see where he is, allowing him to be overly aggressive, to always tell me where he is, the angle of which he's shooting. I can often just kind of get inside until I get so close it's too late for him to do anything about, and in the majority of cases, you know, get close enough to auto fire and just 3 shots, done, dead. That was the kind of thing that I was able to do quite frequently on those maps. We'll get into again what the best counters are for Gene to focus on, but I can't really comment too much on any other maps besides those 2. They were the ones that I definitely had the most success. I'm still looking to see what's coming up in the rotation next, to see where he's going to be viable. Again, bushes are good for Jean, definitely good, but in Snake Prairie, it just didn't work. So it's not always the best thing for Jean to have bushes galore, but a decent amount in which to be able to ambush people is definitely a must. So any sort of map that comes up in the rotation that has really favorable bushes to use. I did try Hard Rock Mine. I didn't really feel it that much, mainly because it's very visible when you're kind of going up to the enemy spawn on Hard Rock Mine, so they can kind of tell, okay, well, Jean's behind us now. In the other maps, you could literally, like Temple Ruins and Undermine, like I say, you could very much go right up towards the very top of their spawns and basically remain undetected. So by far, guys, if you're pushing Jean, look out for Undermine for gem grab, but do not play gem carrier, and look out for Temple Ruins in Bounty, and focus on their Piper or someone that kind of is very easy to take a 3-shot kill on. That's my best advice. Alright, so let's talk about the brawlers that you want to be focusing on as Jean in order to win your lanes. This one's really important. For me, I had great fun going up against Rico. Rico's very strong in the meta right now. He's become very viable, so many people are playing Rico, especially on Temple Ruins and Undermine. So what I would do is I would juke my way up towards the Rico, and once you're that close, it's a 3-shot kill straight away and Rico is down. And then that time where he is respawning allows you to focus your time and attention on the mid of the map, or just in general supporting your teammates. In gem grab, that is obviously focusing on the gem carrier. In bounty, it's kind of like addressing where the Piper is, most likely, or the Brock, and just seeing whether it's worth going out of the bushes, making yourself seen, or just waiting for that Rico to respawn in and do rinse and repeat. Also, anything like a Dynamite or a Barley, anything squidgy in that respect, is pretty good to take out. Dynamite, again, in those maps, it's really difficult for him to know where you are without testing the bushes to kind of get a shot in the dark, effectively. And so it's relatively easy to juke those shots and work your way up. And again, 3-shot kill, dead. Don't, in my opinion, test the bushes too much. When you test the bushes, you're using the primary attack, and it will kind of flare out at the end if you miss your shot to kind of like show up anyone that is in the bushes. By doing that, it does serve a purpose, don't get me wrong. It's kind of good if you are unfortunate enough to be faced with a Frank or a Primo, just to see where they are at first and then try and hit your shots. But as soon as you do that, you're giving yourself away. You're telling your opponents exactly where you are, and as Jean, you really need to hit those shots, especially against tanks. Franks, Primos, Bo is okay, but not great. I think you 4-shot a Bo. But Franks and Primos are really difficult to deal with, especially if they're being really, really aggressive towards you and just charging straight at you. That can be a really difficult one to deal with. So be very cautious in those respects. The best time that you can focus on a tank is when you have all the gems in gem grab and you're retreating back into your spawn, and the Primo is about to start kind of attacking your gem carrier. Super him, bring him away from the situation. That is one of Jean's best skills, is being able to help out your teammates and take away the problem. So a lot of times in gem grab, I'll stay in the bushes, I'll let the tanks go down the map, and then pluck them out as I need to. Yes, I might die for it, but I've wasted their valuable time. In gem grab, by the time they get to your spawn, they've got maybe 5-10 seconds max to really do anything about it. So by dragging them away from that situation, it wastes their time. They could get a super, be aware of that. As you drag the tank, always move away as much as you can from where you started to drag them from, and the further you pull them, the more time you have to kind of sort of evacuate the area effectively. So bear those things in mind. Don't drag a tank at close range. Wait until they are at the very end of that range, and it gives you enough time to get away and to not feed their supers. So yeah, Franks are bad, Primos are bad, Ricos are great, Barley's are great, Dynamite's are great. Spike is tricky because it's got so much DPS damage. If he hits you, it hurts a lot. So I didn't really like facing against the Spike, to be honest, but I think you like 4-shot a Spike, so it's not the end of the world if you're quite able to outplay them effectively. But I didn't really feel like it was a great one to focus my time and attention on. So yeah, know your counters, and when you're trying to push Jean, try to keep in your mind exactly how many shots it takes for you to kill them at your various levels. I only played Jean at level 10. so I can only really comment as far as it is to be a maxed gene, but try to, at your various levels, think to yourselves, right, how many shots is it for me to kill a max Piper or to kill a max Rico? And always, always, always bear that in mind, because again, your reload speed is so slow that you're gonna want to make those shots count.